Well, General Dunwoody has asked me to go over to the theater to support the drawdown and run what is known as the R2TF. Stands for Responsible Reset Task Force. And this task force is about 25 to 30 folks strong, and it is a mixture of skills across Materiel enterprise to include ORSA, to include item managers, LARs, logistics assistance representatives, and logisticians and operators across the Materiel enterprise, like I said. And the purpose of the R2TF is to help ARCENT, Army Central Command, 3rd Army, which is the Army Service Component Command of CENTCOM, as it conducts its responsible drawdown. The concept is all that equipment, and we'll get to numbers here a little bit later, but all the equipment that is not needed by ARCENT for its mission in Southwest Asia, that is above their requirements, we will take care of and send it back to the states, ultimately to a source of repair, so that we can effectively and efficiently reset the Army, which is the goal of the Chief of Staff, to help us bring the Army into balance by 2011. The reason AMC is well suited for this mission is obviously well, maybe not so obviously, the ability for us to repair our equipment at not only our organic depots, but at our directors of maintenance now that are going to be throughout our post camps and stations, the old director of logistics, and then to be able to work with our original equipment manufacturers to repair certain vehicles, certain pieces of equipment at their locations. We will be doing this not only just with our life cycle management commands, that being Aviation Missile Command, Communications Electronic Command, Tank Armament and Automotive Command, and our Joint Munitions Command, but we're going to be doing this with our PEO brothers, our PM brothers, and working with our Department of the Army staff, working the priorities that the department provides for us so that we can get that equipment in and out of repair and back to the hands of soldiers who are going to be needing it for training. The purpose of the responsible reset is to ensure that we get our soldiers the equipment necessary in time for them to train for the next mission. The Army's been at war for going on 9 years now, and soldiers and units have been deploying to Iraq since 2004. Of course, we crossed the berm in late 2000 or in the spring of 2003, and the first rotations occurred later that year and into 2004 and have continued. So we've been putting units in there, and we've been withdrawing units on a very regular cycle, month after month after month. But not all the equipment that we sent over there with that unit came back with that unit. So we have on the numbers, I will tell you, about 60 to 80,000 containers. We have 50,000 vehicles. We have upwards of 3 million different pieces of equipment. A lot of it is eaches of repair parts or clothing and equipment. But it's still a rather large undertaking that we have to do while we're still in contact. So the context of this operation is unprecedented. Large and in contact with the enemy on a timeline that's been directed by the President of the United States. And that timeline is to be down to 50,000 soldiers by August 31st of 2010, and then ultimately leave the country by December 31st of 2011. Stakeholders of this operation are many. The AMC and ASALT community that make up the Materiel enterprise could not do this by themselves. Certainly the Department of the Army G8, the Department of the Army G3, and the G4, along with the budget folks, are key stakeholders in this massive undertaking. DLA, the Defense Logistics Agency, is playing a huge role. So many items that will not be brought back to the states because of their serviceability criteria or obsolete will be sent to DRMO in, I believe, 4 locations in Iraq and 1 location in Kuwait. We also are reaching out to the Government Audit Agency along with the Army Audit Agency to ensure that they know what we're doing and that they're in lockstep with us. and they are attending our weekly updates. So the stakeholders are many, and for all the right reasons. We have to do this in a team effort. And this plan has been tested. This plan has been rock drilled, and this plan is working right now, although the difference between now and when the drawdown really goes into earnest is a difference in physics. There's going to be a lot more stuff coming out of Iraq after the elections. Now, the elections in January will be a trigger. General Odierno will establish that the conditions are right for us to conduct a drawdown, a deliberate drawdown, responsible drawdown that they are conducting, and then the Responsible Reset Task Force will assist and aid in that endeavor. The disposition of instruction, or the disposition instructions for equipment coming out of Iraq are many. The disposition instructions, the definition depends on where you sit. The Corps, MNCI, can take a piece of equipment and say, hey, I need it in another unit here in the Corps, and that's a set of disposition instructions. And then the 402nd AFSB will conduct that move from FOB to FOB, forward operating base to forward operating base. Another set of instructions could come from ARCENT, Army Central Command, that says, I need this in another country within our footprint, Horn of Africa, Afghanistan, Pakistan, etc. So that piece of equipment will then be sent to that location. And then ultimately a third disposition is it's not needed in the footprint of ARCENT, so we'll come back to the Army. And then the Army will then responsibly reset that piece of equipment and get it back into the hands of soldiers. Another option for a piece of equipment is FMS, Foreign Military Sales, where our United States Army Security Assistance Command, USASAC, is working with the theater to establish requirements for both Afghanistan and Iraq so that this equipment can stay over there rather than come back and be sent back again at great expense. So those are just a few of the different disposition instructions that can happen for a piece of equipment. It's PhD level work that the staff throughout the Materiel enterprise is taken on and doing a great job. I'd like to mention that the people that make up the R2TF are great Americans. They're both civilians, dedicated, hard-working Department of the Army civilians. We have a couple of dedicated, hard-working contractors, and then we've got a smattering of military. Those folks over there are doing just wonderful work. They're embedded with United States Army Central Command. They're the 3rd Army. They are physically located with the 1st Theater Support Command headquarters. They are working 16, 18 hours a day, 6.5 days a week, and have become so ingrained in the operation over there that no meetings happen, no decisions are made logistically without input from the R2TF. So my hat's off to Mr. Jack Dugan, Sergeant Major Rodney McCarn, and the entire team over there that continue to impress every day.
The hard work of logisticians across AMC, the Army, and Department of Defense will ensure that the responsible drawdown and reset of equipment is seamless and synchronized in order to meet the needs of our warfighters while at the same time being good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars. Well, that's all for this edition of the AMC News Dispatch. Don't forget to visit the AMC website and click on the News and Information link for the latest items of interest about the command. Thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next time.